Get this. Evolutionary research reveals a truly startling fact about how infants view the world. Studies show that even infants as young as 8 to 14 months old spot a snake faster than a harmless object. It's a lightning-fast visual detection that significantly outpaces how quickly they notice pretty much anything else. Which naturally brings us to a massive twist, and a question parents have debated for decades. Does this crazy fast visual detection mean we are actually born with an innate, preloaded phobia of snakes? Well, let's look at why we are born biased, but not afraid. Science tells us that humans have an evolved attentional bias. Basically, our brains are hardwired to notice potential physical threats incredibly fast. Think of it as a survival superpower inherited from our ancient ancestors. Back in the tall grass, the human who noticed the snake first was the one who survived, right? But here's the kicker. Noticing something quickly because it's a survival priority is very, very different from actually experiencing the emotion of fear. And what's really fascinating is how universal this trait is across our entire lifespan. Classic visual search experiments have consistently shown that adults, 3 to 5-year-olds, and even those little infants we just talked about visually detect snakes far more rapidly than non-threatening images. It's like a giant puzzle. If you hide a picture of a snake in a field of flowers, boom, the human eye darts right to the snake. But if you put a flower in a field of snakes, it takes us way longer to find the flower. It's a pure evolved attentional bias. So what exactly is prepared learning? The modern scientific consensus in this explainer is centered around a concept called prepared learning. What this means is that children are biologically pre-wired to learn a fear of snakes incredibly quickly, but they are absolutely not born preloaded with an actual phobia. We come into the world with a blank slate when it comes to the emotion of fear, but you can think of that slate as being highly absorbent specifically for ancestral threats. So the absolutely crucial takeaway here is that fast visual detection plus a biological readiness to learn does not equal a pre-formed fear. Fear is still something that has to be acquired. It requires a trigger in the environment. You are not born afraid. You're just born prepared to learn to be afraid if the environment tells you to be. Which brings us to the incredibly important power of parent modeling. Clinical studies have documented a powerful vicarious pathway for fear acquisition. And the results are wild. In these experiments, toddlers developed a very real fear of a simple rubber toy snake almost immediately. We are talking within minutes, all just by observing their mother react to it with alarm. The toddler's brain, which is already primed by evolution to pay attention to the snake, sees the mother's panic and instantly locks in the fear. It's direct, undeniable proof of this vicarious modeling pathway. And it doesn't stop with toddlers. Research looking at 6 to 10-year-olds confirms that this learned observational pathway is remarkably potent. It beautifully balances out the evolutionary story with developmental psychology. The relevance of the stimulus, whether it's a snake or some totally novel unseen animal, is sometimes a lot subtler than we once thought. Experience and observation often override absolutely everything else. Put simply, if they see you panic, they will panic. For all the parents out there, this is a highly actionable and empowering message. Because the acquisition of this fear is mostly learned through observation, your calm, non-fearful reaction serves as a literal protective shield for your child. Your behavior is the off switch to their evolutionary preparedness. Your calm reaction matters immensely. Now, let's talk about treating animal-specific phobias. What if an intense fear of animals does take hold and becomes an impairing issue? Well, first of all, you are definitely not alone. Based on vast national epidemiological surveys here in the US, nearly 20% of the population reports a fear of animals. That's almost 1 in 5 people. It narrowly beats out the fear of heights at 18.7% and the fear of flying at 11.4%. Animal phobias are incredibly prevalent. But the great news here is that when fear takes hold as an animal-type specific phobia, it responds remarkably well to clinical treatment. Exposure therapy is widely considered the gold standard treatment of choice. It systematically helps the brain decouple that lightning-fast visual detection of the animal from the actual panic response, effectively extinguishing the fear altogether. It is a highly treatable condition. In fact, clinical psychology has advanced so far that pioneered single-session mass exposure treatments, which often last just a few hours, can show massive, lasting improvements in a patient. It just goes to show that the brain is surprisingly adaptable when it's guided safely through its fears.
So let's lay out a clear plan for parents.
Before doing literally anything else, we have step 0. Parents must intentionally model a confident, calm curiosity when encountering snakes or even just talking about them. The mindset here shouldn't just be about surviving a scary encounter. The mantra should be, don't calm down, conquer. You want to model an active scientific fascination that totally overrides those evolutionary alarm bells. From there, you can move to the practical steps of a graduated exposure plan right at home. Step 1. Start with books and colorful pictures of snakes, discussing them scientifically. Step 2. Graduate to handling a rubber toy snake, playfully desensitizing the visual shape of it. And Step 3. Eventually visit a highly secure glassed enclosure at a local zoo to safely observe a real one together. Just remember to keep that calm, curious energy going the entire time. Quick caveat here, though, it is extremely important to note that if your child's fear is intensely distressing, causes severe panic attacks, or severely impairs their daily life, you should absolutely skip the DIY route and seek the help of a professional. Like we just talked about, fast and highly effective clinical treatments are readily available. So we're left with a pretty powerful realization. By understanding the science of prepared learning, and by consciously modeling calm behavior yourself, you hold the power to help your child conquer their fears. And hey, if you're looking for a structured way to guide your kids through this, the Fear Me Not app is an incredible resource designed exactly for this purpose. It helps kids replace that instinctive alarm with conquered, curious confidence. Ultimately, it's all about turning an ancient evolutionary bias into a beautiful, lifelong scientific curiosity.